Welcome. We're here. Episode number one, Leap Enforcer podcast. Decided to do it, give it a go. My name's Chris Salter. If you don't know me, so I got the nickname Leap Enforcer. Week 7 this year, Packers versus Texans at Lambeau Field. I had Joe Mixon try to do a Lambeau leap. I stopped him from the Lambeau leap, gave him a couple stiff arms, and then the police tried to kick me out. They didn't kick me out, and then at the end of the game, Brandon McManus kicked a game-winning field goal, and him and the entire team, Zach Tom, Christian Watson, a lot of the guys come running over, did the Lambeau leap right in my arms. So a lot of people say that's probably one of the craziest Green Bay Packer fan experiences that you'll ever experience, being able to stop one and get one. So that's where I got the nickname. Why I decided to do a podcast. I love talking football. I absolutely love the NFL. I don't miss any Sundays. This is my man cave down here. I don't miss a Sunday watching football. I'll either be at Lambeau or I'll be sitting in my basement. So I'm a massive Packer fan. So I figured, you know what? I like to talk to all my buddies about football. I do feel like I'm somewhat knowledgeable of the sport. So why not make a podcast and just do something for fun? So if you enjoy this, please give me a follow, leave me a comment. Again, this is my first podcast episode, so take it easy on me, please. I wanted to hop on here. I wanted to jump into wild card weekend. Here we are. Playoffs are here. I feel like the season just started. It's crazy. Season flew by. And so let's just dive in. So the wild card weekend on the NFC, I'm going to jump right into the Packers Eagles. It's going to be tough. I'm a diehard Packers fan, but the one draw I did not want to have was Philly. Philly's just a tough matchup. They are, in my opinion, probably one of the best rosters from top to bottom. Their defense is spectacular. They're good with the run. They're good with the pass. Their offense is one. I mean, it's the best rushing attack really in the league. You got, Saquon. He ran for over 2,000 yards. I kind of wish they would have let him go ahead and get the all-time rushing record and get Dickerson's record, but they held him out, rest him, make sure he doesn't get hurt, which I understand that too. So going into the game, my first thoughts are Jalen Hurts. Is he going to play? Yes, he's going to play. He's in concussion protocol right now. They say he hasn't cleared concussion protocol. I expect him to clear tomorrow or Saturday. Today is Thursday. So we got 3 days till the game. I do think he's going to clear probably tomorrow. He's been at practices the last couple days. So there's no reason that he won't, end up playing, I'm sure. So first thoughts with the Philly offense, stop Saquon. Nobody's been able to do it all season. I think that's the way we're going to have to play them, especially with Jalen Hurts coming back, being rusty. He hasn't, really thrown a ball in a few weeks that I'm aware of. He hasn't really, he hasn't been around the team a bunch, I don't think, with the concussion protocol. So it's like, how rusty will it be? Make him beat you. I'm loading the box and stopping the run as much as I can. You're going to leave some man coverage on the outside for us, but I think with McKinney and Bullard and Evan Williams, I think we have enough in the back end that we can, we could play physical, with Devontae Smith, with AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert. I do think AJ Brown's going to be the tough one. We don't have a lot of big corners at all. Jair is out, so that's tough on us. I do feel like they could put Evan Williams or Bullard up, a little bit more press man with them. They're tough. They're physical safeties that can play corner if need be. You almost got to play like a high-low, keep somebody underneath him, keep a safety over the top on him. And, I would put Carrington Valentine on Devontae Smith. Carrington's physical. He's, handsy. I think he can, cause Devontae, a lot of issues right off the line of scrimmage being physical with him because Devontae is not a very big guy. So I think that would be a good coverage for him, putting Carrington on him. But A.J. Brown's going to be the one that we would have to figure out a plan. And I do think, keeping the safety over top on him and playing like a tough man with him. I think that's the way to go and force Jalen Hurts to throw a ball. He hasn't played a meaningful game in 3 weeks. Force him. I know stopping Saquon is easier said than done. I hope TJ Slayton is able to play. I know he's not practiced this week, and he's such he's a big dude at in the middle of that defensive line for us. Him and Kenny Clark, they've been playing really well in the middle. We've been doing really, really good against the run the last like few weeks. So I do think it's something that we're capable of. I mean, we kept the game. The game was a close game in Brazil week one. The field conditions were terrible, so it's kind of hard to compare now to then. We had players then, and we're missing now, and then vice versa. So um, I think we do have a chance. On it's gonna we're going to have to be almost perfect to stop the run with Saquon, but if you load the box and you're able to keep him at that 50, 60, 70-yard marker, and you force Jalen Hurts to throw a ball that he hasn't, I do like our chances. With him coming back from concussion protocol, like their tush push, that's such a big part of Philly's offense. When you are 4th and 2, or you're 4th and 3, you're on the goal line. That's their go-to. That's their go-to in the middle of the field. And it's not going to be something I don't think is going to be as easy as they think it will be. Why? Because you can't risk Jalen Hurts getting hurt. If they do happen to win this game, Philly, they're going to need him moving forward. So do you want to risk him with a tush push to try to get that extra 2 yards on a first down? That's going to be crucial for us, because if we can make those stops with Slayton and Kenny Clark and Igbare and, our guys up front, if we can get that push, I think that's the way, that's something that we have to consider with Jalen Hurts. Like, do they risk him? Who knows? We don't know what Sirianni's going to do. He might, this could be it for them. I hope it's it for the Eagles. On our side of the ball, like as far as offense goes, Love is questionable. I know he's going to play. He's questionable. I know there's some pain in the elbow. He said he got feeling back, but there's some, still some issues there. I think he'll be fine by Sunday. My biggest thing with Jordan Love is I just wish he'd be more decisive. I feel like sometimes he gets back there and he second guesses himself so much because he doesn't want to throw an interception. So I feel like he's so careful with the ball right now, which is good. You don't want to turn the ball over, but at the same time, you can't sit back there, pat the ball, lick your lips, pat the ball, and then decide to throw it. The problem is he's got to hit these wide receivers before they get out of their breaks. And the problem is he's not. He's waiting until the break happens. Then that corner's already got his head back, and he's like, oh, there's the ball. And they're getting a lot of pass breakups. I do feel like that's a lot of the drop situations are drops, but they're also kind of like, somewhat pass breakups by corners. Like they're right there. So that wide receiver knows, like, if I catch this, I'm probably going to get hit right away anyway. So I think that's a little bit to do with it. I just think that Love has not been decisive. If you look at last season when we were leading into the playoffs, we were hot. We went into Dallas. People gave us a shot in Dallas. We went in there and we thumped Dallas. Like Cowboys did not see that coming. And a lot of the NFL didn't see that coming. But I think Love was playing so much more decisive at that point. So I just think that this game, he's going to have to go and be more decisive. I do think we need to realize who's in our backfield. Josh Jacobs needs to touch the ball 25 to 30 times. I don't care how they make it happen, whether it's little screen passes or they actually use in the run game. Run the ball. All that does is open up play action. It makes Jordan Love's life a lot easier. It makes those linebackers second guess coming up and trying to rush the line of scrimmage, because you don't know if Kraft's coming across the middle, if Musgrave's coming across the middle. It also will open up those end arounds, Jaden Reed running around, Bo Melton running around. So we've lost our deep threat with Christian Watson. I do think that if we could get Malik Heath involved a little bit more, the guy's a baller. Not a lot of tape on him for Philly to kind of, let's stop Heath, because nobody looks at Heath like that, but I just think he's kind of a dog, and he catches the ball. He'll go up and get the ball. He'll fight for the ball. And I just think that he might be one of these like unsung heroes that people don't really consider. Everybody knows who Jaden Reed is. Everybody knows who Romeo Dobbs is, Dontavian Wicks. But I think that Musgrave coming back, I think they're going to get him a little bit more involved, especially kind of coming across the middle of the field. He could also be a little bit more of a deep threat. He's not as quick, but he's bigger. He can jump. So I think that if Love has a little bit of time, we can get a little bit of deep shots. And I'm talking 20, 30 yards. I'm not talking just bombs. But we're going to have to take shots. And I think it's going to open up off of play action And I also think that we need to utilize screen passes. Love should, if he drops back and his guy is not there in his first read or two, then I think it just needs to go to Jacobs or Emmanuel Wilson or Chris Brooks, whoever's back there, and let them get 3-4 yards. It's better than Love taking a sack or getting hit, because he's got hurt a couple times and it's pretty much been on sacks. So that's my thing is utilize Josh Jacobs. That's what we paid the guy for. Let him do his thing. Let him create, yards, easy yards for us, and let us go into these 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2s. The problem is when we get into this offense where I feel like it's kind of cute. Like we want these long, deep throws, and Love drops back, pats, throws the ball away. Next down, pat. I'm going to take a sack. Oh, I'm going to throw it into coverage. Like instead of just taking easy plays and just taking the underneath routes, I just think he needs to be more decisive. I do think we need to get Jayden Reed more involved. The guy's kind of disappeared the last few weeks. I think if we can get him involved early, I feel like he gets that like juice going where the team's like, all right, we can do this shit. Like, let's do this. So I just think getting Jayden Reed involved early. Bo Melton's speed is going to be crucial. I don't think people really consider that, but Bo Melton's got some wheels on him. And if we do take a deep shot, he's not tall, but he's got some burners. And if we can get a couple deep shots with Melton, I think that's the guy that might surprise a lot of people. And then getting Kraft involved early. That dude is tough as shit to tackle. I mean, you see these guys trying to take him down, and he just runs through tackles. It's like one of my favorite Packers right now. I just think that there are ways to beat this team. We're going to have to win the line of scrimmage. We're going to have to get some pass rush on the defensive side of the ball. Gary, Van Ness, and Igbare, Coop is playing just out of his mind. And I really hope Quay Walker comes back on the defensive side of the ball because I think that'll help with some of the the routes coming across the middle of the field with Goddard. And if Devontae Smith tries to come across or A.J. Brown, because they will send A.J. Brown across the middle. And I think Quay Walker, he's big enough to take and handle some of those situations. So we're going to have to play a perfect game. It's not going to be easy. Going into Philly is going to be tough. Like I said, that's one of the draws I didn't want to get. It's one of the teams I felt, not so great about going into and playing. The rest of the NFC, I would have been comfortable going to. I just think that Philly, I'll be honest with you. I'm a massive Packer fan, but I had Philly in the Super Bowl midseason. I really hope I'm wrong. If I am betting the game, I'm going to be honest with you because that's what I'm going to do on this channel. I got the score 28-17 Philly if I'm betting it. With my heart, do I think we have a shot? Absolutely. And it would be great if it was 24-24, game tied, fourth quarter, 3 seconds left, McManus for a 48-yarder. Send this shit home and let's go to Detroit. That's what I hope happens. I hope we go into Philly. I hope we show up. I hope we win the line of scrimmage. I hope Love is decisive. I hope we hand the ball to Jacobs, use Jacobs as much as we can. Let him, make his presence in this game because it's going to really come down to a physical game. So let him do his thing. You know that Philly's going to do it. They're going to try to impose their will with their offensive line and Saquon. And I just think we load the box and we force Hurts to beat us. Their passing offense is not that great this year. You would think they'd be a little bit better with the wide receivers that they actually have, but that's not their ball game. Their ball game is run the ball. So force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. So that's my 2 cents on that game. As far as the rest of the games go, so we got I had it written down here. So we got Broncos, Bills, AFC. I think that's going to be a little bit better game than people want to give credit for. They're playing. Bo Nix is playing well for them. That defense is playing well. Sean Payton's got that team completely different than what it was last year. I do think that they have a hell of a defense. I just don't know if they got enough firepower on the offensive side of the ball to keep up with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's MVP. You look at that Buffalo team, like really, who do they have on offense? They don't have any like top tier wide receivers. They got a couple good tight ends. Shakir is playing well for them. They got Kincaid. They got Knox. They added Amari Cooper. Cooper hasn't really done much for them since he's gotten over there. but maybe he shows up in the playoffs. But Josh Allen is the engine for that team. The defense has been hurt. They've still been winning. They went into Detroit and won. So I got Buffalo in that one. The spread's 8.5. I don't feel too comfortable about that many points. I do see it being maybe a touchdown game. So that's a tough one for me, but I don't think it's going to be a rout like a lot of people think it will be. On to the Chargers and Texans. That game, the Texans have just they seem lost the last couple weeks. Mixon's had a hell of a season. Stroud is just kind of out there. I don't know if it's a mental thing for him or what's going on with him. He just doesn't seem like the same CJ Stroud that was, running wild last year. And then the beginning of the season they started off pretty well, but they don't look right. I think if they can start the game off, getting the run game rolling with Mixon, I think that they would have a chance. But I really like the Chargers in this game. I think the spread's -3. Harbaugh's got that defense playing well for the Chargers. I love Herbert. Herbert's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. The dude is just a baller, and he's got a cannon on him. So I just, I just think that they have the weapons they need to get by the Texans, who I feel like are kind of backpedaling into the playoffs. Um, the next one in the AFC is going to be Steelers Ravens. I think the Steelers are kind of I think they were a little phony this year. I think they beat up on bad teams and they didn't beat good teams, in my opinion. I don't think Russ is the answer. I Justin Fields, I don't know why they don't utilize him a little bit more, whether it's screen passes or some, run pass options, some play action, things like that. Because the dude can run. I'm not a big Justin Fields fan, but I don't think that you're not going to get much worse with him than Russell Wilson. And Russ can't run, so you might as well get Fields out there for plays here and there, and just try to utilize him, while he's there. Um, Kenny, the George Pickens, he's had some drops lately that have just been out of control. I think it was last week he had like 3 of them that he just couldn't catch the ball. So I just think that team's kind of checked out to an extent. Their run game's like it's okay. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, I think it's solid, but I just don't think that they have what it takes to keep up with the Ravens. Um, the AFC, I really like the Ravens and Buffalo. Those are the 2 teams that I do feel like it's going to come down to. Lamar is playing out of his mind this year, absolutely out of his mind. And I think the biggest difference from this year to last year he was having to chuck the ball 40 times in the playoffs, for him to feel like he had a chance. And now with Derrick Henry, Henry takes a lot of that load off of him having to run the ball so much. Like turn around and hand it to Derrick Henry, and then Lamar, you can do the play action. You can take off whenever you want to. Um, I know Zay Flowers is out this week. I think that's going to be a big loss for them, but I do think I think they're going to get by Pittsburgh no problem. That line is last I seen it was Ravens -9.5. I would lay it. I don't think Pittsburgh is going to be able to score enough to even be remotely close in this game. I just think that Lamar is coming out to prove a point. I think he's on a mission this year. Should he have got MVP? Maybe, but Josh Allen is literally the only person on that team I feel like for Buffalo that is making them win. At least with Baltimore, they still have some other weapons. I do feel like they would still be a solid team if something happened to him. Just having Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and that defense is starting to play really, really well. So I do think that Lamar should get some MVP votes, but I don't think he'll get it. But Lamar's playing out of his mind. Like, let's just be real. The guy is unbelievable. So I do like the Ravens in that game. And then for the last 2 games on the NFC side, Commanders Bucks. Bucks -3 is the last I seen it. Take the over. I think the over is like 50 some points, but I would take the over. I think this game is going to be the first to 30 wins. These guys are it's going to be an absolute shootout. Baker's going to sling it. Jane Daniels is playing out of his mind. He is easily the offensive rookie of the year. No, it's not even a question. The guy's playing, he's balling. And he has taken that organization from absolutely the bottom of the league to like one of the funnest teams to watch. Him, Scary Terry McLaurin, he's playing really well. They got a solid defense. Daniels is going to be a baller. I think he's going to be the best quarterback out of that draft. He's showing in year one what he's capable of. The guy will run, the guy will throw. He's got all the intangibles to just be a great QB in this league. Baker, Mike Evans, like they got a good mix of youth and veterans on that team. Bucky Irving is playing extremely well for them. Baker's going to sling it. I like Baker. Some people don't like his cockiness. I mean, you've got to have some cockiness and confidence as being an NFL quarterback. And the dude's going to throw it. He's going to sling it. If he throws a pick, he's going to turn right around and make a similar throw the next time, and it probably won't be a pick. So that game's tough for me. I think that's the biggest toss up of the weekend. I still like the Bucks in that game just because of the veteran leadership with Mike Evans, and some of the guys that are still remaining from their Super Bowl team. Plus, Baker's been in the league for a minute. He knows what this is about. Baker's also one of the only quarterbacks that he's pretty much beat all the top teams in the NFC over the last 2 years. So the guy's done it. He's not afraid of any situation. So I will take the Bucks. I would lay the 3 in that game. I got that game being somewhere like 41-33, something like that. Might be 38-33, something. But I would lay the 3, and I would take the Bucks. But I do like the over in that game. And Vikings-Rams. Last week, Detroit, I think, had the perfect game plan for Minnesota. Sam Darnold holds the ball too damn long. He just sits back there and if he makes a couple of those throws in the end zone, I think there was 5 chances he had to Jefferson, and he overthrew all of them. If he takes a little bit off 2 of those, that's a completely different ball game. I do think he needs to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker, but I do think that Minnesota rebounds. I know the Rams are a hot team. I know a lot of people are high on the Rams moving forward in these playoffs. I just don't see it right now. They're a young team. Maybe next year that defense is extremely good, but they're extremely young. And I do think they're going to make a couple of the mistakes, and Sam Darnold will take advantage of it. I do think that, utilizing Aaron Jones a little bit more. I think he was sick or something during that Detroit game at like halftime. But I do think, using Aaron Jones, using Cam Akers a little bit more, and just kind of giving what the defense, taking what the defense gives you as far as Sam Darnold goes. Like, you don't have to always try to make Justin Jefferson, get Justin Jefferson the ball 30 yards down the field or 20 yards down the field. Like, take Hockenson coming across the middle. Take the little dump off to Jones. Jones, he was great for us in Green Bay. That was like a run game for us, tossing those little like screen passes to him. I just think he just needs to take what, the defense is allowing and roll with it. I think the Rams are good, but like I said, I think they're about a year out with that defense. So I do like Minnesota. I like Minnesota pretty big in this game, actually. I think that Minnesota rebounds. I think that they come to play. I think that they come and they show that they are a top team in the NFC. So I got that game. I think they're going to come up probably 34-23 is kind of where I'm at with that game. I do think it's a convincing win. So I think Minnesota gets by the Rams, and then, Rams probably be good next year. So, but that's kind of my sum up of the this weekend coming up. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I hope my boys, come to play. I hope Love shows up. I hope he's, as healthy as he can be. I hope Josh Jacobs has a day. I'm cool with 150 and 3 tutties, if you know what I mean. So I hope Kraft shows up. I hope my guys show up. And if Jalen Hurts is rusty, I'm not going to say I'll be sad to see it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let me know what you think. Again, I'm a little nervous. This is my first podcast, first time ever recording anything like this. So I got to figure all this stuff out yet. So let me know what you think. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I am on TikTok. You can search me, CSalter23 on Instagram. And so, yeah, if you see this will be on YouTube as well. So leave me a comment, and be nice. This is my first time. So I hope, people like to listen to it. I love to talk about sports. And then I will probably follow this up next week and see how we look. And hopefully I can talk about another Green Bay game in Detroit. I would love nothing more than Green Bay, Detroit next week to send the Lions and the Lions fans home crying. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. If you made it this far, again, my name's Chris Salter. I am known as the Leap Enforcer. If you Google it online, there's all kinds of stuff that pops up. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. And until next week, go Pack, go.